News 25 is brought to you by Bees Embroidery and Garment Printing, specializing in custom and personalized decoration of gifts, garments, and more. Call 775-727-9444. News is also brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson.
Tonight, Nye County arrests 2 law enforcement officers. And in our studio, we catch up with the Sherry Rowe Band. News 25 starts now.
This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell. News 25. Local coverage you can count on.
Transport officers are arrested for mistreating inmates. It's Wednesday, September 4th. I'm Deanna O'Donnell, and this just in, Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue is putting out a brush fire near Preferred RV off of Crawford Way, and deputies are in pursuit of an off-road vehicle on the south side of Pahrump on Casey Avenue, so watch out for traffic in those areas. Well, 2 law enforcement officers were arrested after inmates complained of excessive heat inside a transport vehicle. 2 law enforcement officers have been arrested by the Nye County Sheriff's Office. Teresa Fiveash and Chance Sarchett were arrested for abuse of an older or vulnerable person, inhumanity to a prisoner, and oppression under the color of office. According to the declaration of arrest, Teresa Fiveash and Chance Sarchett are officers with Prisoner Transport Service, which is a transport company used to transport inmates across the country when they are being extradited from one jurisdiction to another. Prisoner Transport Service periodically houses inmates in the Nye County Detention Center as a courtesy to provide their drivers their required break. On August 22nd, the Nye County Sheriff's Office was advised that the Prisoner Transport Service were bringing in 6 inmates for a courtesy hold and that the air conditioning had gone out a couple of hours prior inside the transport van. They say that the inmates were irritable and were requesting to see medical upon arrival. Sarchett told police, according to the report, that the air conditioning had went out in the middle of the night. Fiveash told Nye County Sheriff's Office Detention that the air conditioning had went out the day prior. Upon arrival at the detention center, police say that they found 6 inmates that were visibly flushed, red-faced, and sweaty. They appeared to be suffering from heat-related symptoms. The inmates, they say, were demanding that the Prisoner Transport Service staff tell detention staff what really happened. The 2 officers allegedly told Nye County that the inmates were irritable because it was 100 degrees in the back of the van. The inmates say that they had been riding more than a day inside the vehicle and that it was approximately in excess of 16 hours without the air conditioning working. They say that the officers who were driving stopped at a convenience store and grabbed a bag of ice and threw it in the compartment of the transport vehicle. One of the inmates was taken to a medical clinic in Ventura for seizures. They say that inmate's evaluation of his body temperature was 100.7 degrees. Sarchett reportedly told officers that there was no air for 24 hours inside the van when an interview was conducted, and that he acknowledged that that violated the rights of the inmates, but he had called their corporate office to report the problem and that they did not want him to stop prior to getting to Pahrump. They also say that Sarchett had prior law enforcement experience and acknowledged if he worked for a government agency, this would have never happened. But because it was a private entity, he did not want to compromise his job, so he did as they told him. Fiveash, during her interview, told police that the air had went out inside the truck about 24 hours prior to their arrival. She said that she should have stood up to corporate, but she could not because her husband is sick and she is the only one supporting the family. Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies recorded an interview with the operations director of Prisoner Transport System. They said that Fiveash and Sarchett were in violation of the company policy, and if the air conditioner was broken, they should have never driven the inmates around like that. The inmates were restrained in shackles and handcuffs in a cage of the van. That left them with physical limitations that restricted the ability for them to perform the normal activities of daily living. This is what they say made them vulnerable. Both Teresa Fiveash and Chance Sarchett were taken into custody by the Nye County Sheriff's Office. Here at News 25, we're always giving you breaking news as it happens, and emergency responders are busy tonight for a two-vehicle accident on Highway 160 and Dandelion Street. We'll bring you more on that story on tomorrow night's broadcast. Well, a female says her boyfriend threatened her life and the life of her unborn child during an altercation.
Patrol members be advised.
Andrew Gibson has been arrested on August 15th for assault with a deadly weapon and domestic battery. According to the report, police made contact with a female who mentioned that her boyfriend of 8 months, Andrew Gibson, had been abusing her. She stated that Andrew had took a metal item and hit her in the left side with it. Andrew had also allegedly grabbed her right arm, which resulted in a bruise. She stated that Andrew grabbed a black pocket knife and stated that he will cut her from ear to ear if she goes to the cops, and threatened to cut the baby out of her as well. While speaking to the female, police say that they noticed physical evidence that supported her claims. Andrew Gibson was placed under arrest and transported to the Nye County Detention Center.
Well, Boeing is still making necessary repairs on their parked aircraft. That and more in today's financial news.
Here's Angela Miles with today's Business First Brief.
Topping our news, union negotiations with the big three automakers just took a hardcore turn. Members of the UAW voted overwhelmingly to strike if necessary. Talks with General Motors are expected to be the most contentious. GM could potentially close 4 plants in Michigan and Ohio. Auto workers' contracts expire September 14th. Boeing's grounded 737 MAX might not take off in time for the holidays. The Wall Street Journal reports there may be a delay. The stock is down nearly $100 since that aircraft was grounded in March following 2 fatal crashes. A new troubling sign of recession. The ISM Manufacturing Index slipped to 49.1 in August from 51.2 in July and 51.7 in June. A reading below 50 indicates business is no longer growing.
To find out where you can see us every day, go to businessfirstam.com.
Well, your court report and so much more after this break.
This segment of the news is brought to you by Pahrump Cardiology, located at 1397 South Loop Road in Pahrump, Nevada. Call 775-210-8333 for an appointment. Dr. Tali Eric, proudly serving Pahrump since 2005.
Welcome back. Well, let's go to Unette Gentry, who has the latest happening in our courts.
In this week's court report, Justice Court officials say it was a short and sweet proceeding in court, but Richard Jason Deutsch, the former Nye County officer, found guilty of the domestic battery charge he was facing connected to a reported fight with his ex-girlfriend, did not get such sweet news. Deutsch's appeal was denied, and Judge Wonker reaffirmed Deutsch's conviction. Deutsch currently has 2 separate cases related to this reported incident. Deutsch now has a status hearing on October 28th for both of his cases in which he faced the charges of domestic battery, 2 counts of disturbing the peace, and injury to other property less than $25 in one case, and the charges of injure or tamper with vehicle damage $250 to $5,000, and another count of injury to other property in his other case. Notably, Deutsch was found not guilty of the 2 separate counts of disturbing the peace he was originally facing in one of his cases. However, since Deutsch has been convicted of domestic battery and his appeal of that conviction has now been denied, under Nevada and federal law, he cannot carry a firearm, which prevents him from fulfilling his job duties as an officer and a member of the military. Richard E. Cleaves, the Nye County inmate who was arrested on an outstanding warrant after being located right in the front office of the Nye County Sheriff's Office, now has a pretrial hearing scheduled October 17th in both of his Justice Court cases, after both of those proceedings were continued per defense request. Cleaves is now facing the formal charges of burglary first offense and injury to other property in his first case, and unlawful trespass upon land, and another separate count of injury to other property in his second Justice Court case. Those charges are connected to an incident that is said to have occurred April 2nd. Notably, also back in April, a warrant of arrest was issued and Cleaves's bail was set at $15,000 cash or $30,000 bond. As of July 3rd, attorney Ronnie Boscovich has replaced attorney Jogger as public defender and counsel for Cleaves. And this just in from the Nye County District Attorney's Office regarding an update on two serious animal cruelty cases. On August 26th, District Court Judge Lane sentenced Clifton Pappas to prison for his actions in using a firearm to kill 3 dogs belonging to his ex-girlfriend. Pappas pleaded guilty to torturing, maiming, mutilating, or killing an animal, a Category D felony. Also on August 26th, and as previously mentioned on our previous court report, the court accepted the guilty plea of Gregory Kokorian in a case stemming from abuse through neglect of numerous cats, many of whom starved to death. Kokorian entered guilty pleas to 2 counts of animal cruelty, a Category D felony. The court could sentence Kokorian to prison in 1 or both counts. If Kokorian receives probation, he will be unable to possess animals during the term of his probation, and he also agreed to pay restitution. Regarding these cases, District Attorney Chris Arabia says cats and dogs deserve justice, and these cases reflect our belief that this kind of behavior should be punished, and punished harshly. This has been your court report. I'm Unette Gentry for News 25.
And Nye County commissioners discussed during a recent meeting renewing an agreement with county employees.
Time is it? Possible action, discussion, deliberation to ratify a memorandum of agreement between Nye County and the Nye County Management Employees Association allowing modifications to Article 11, probation, Article 16, retirement contributions, Article 20, sick leave, Article 22, annual leave, and Article 28, layoff procedure of the collective bargaining agreement for the purpose of bringing the town of Pahrump employees into that agreement. Board.
I'd like to make a motion to approve,
Ratify
the memorandum of agreement.
A motion to ratify. Do I have a second?
Mr. Chair, I apologize, I should have spoken up earlier. There is a small modification that we have to make to 35 and 36.
Can I see if I can get a second first?
Yes.
Or do you want to?
I'll withdraw my
Okay,
motion
now you can
until
go.
you're done.
The changes we're just doing 35 right now.
Yes.
So the change in 35 would be to section 1A, where instead of saying after September 23rd, it would say on September 23rd.
I'd like to make a motion to ratify the memorandum of agreement.
I have a motion to ratify what changes? Do I have a second? I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to ratify. Further discussion?
Yep, Mr. Chairman, yeah, I'm really conflicted with this. I'm really torn on it. I understand we had this discussion, and I understand where we're at with this. I get concerned that we merge so much into the county that it's very difficult to split back off if and when that point ever happens. That's all, Mr. Chairman. They're just thoughts. Thank you.
Further discussion? Public comment? All those in favor say aye.
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 Unanimous. 36.
All right, after this break, we're going to meet a new country band who made their way through Pahrump today.
You're watching KPVM News 25. Local coverage you can count on.
Well, today we had the pleasure of meeting members of the Sherry Rowe Band who stopped by our studio on their way to Utah.
We are coming up from the Glendale, Arizona area. We travel a lot between Glendale and Nashville, record out in Nashville, play a lot of shows, and we're touring the Southwest right now. Made a stop through here, and we're heading up to Utah after that. We've had a couple members, in and out over the years, but collectively about 6 years in country music, and then I did some contemporary Christian music before that, so I've been touring for probably almost 10 years total. Yeah. So we're heading out of town here after this stop and heading up to St. George. We'll be performing there, and going to do a couple songs outside of Zion, and then heading up to Vernal and Provo, making a few stops. We are going to be playing, we're in a concert series with 96.3 FM Real Country at State 48 at Westgate Entertainment District, and we're there every couple months. Other than that, we tour and do festivals, and so we aren't at a bar on a weekly basis, but State 48, you can catch us every other month there in Arizona, and we're going to be opening up for Jimmy Allen in New Mexico and Waterloo Revival at the Gila County Fair, and we've had some great opportunities to open up for some big acts, so we're excited to see things growing. I'm so excited. That song is called Night Like This. I co-wrote it with a great songwriter out of Nashville, in East Nashville. His name's Greg Crow. He's had tons of hits. He's an award-winning songwriter and a great guy. And we do so many, long sets, live shows, and we try to have a really high-energy show. And we kind of came to the co-write thinking, those just feel-good party songs where you just feel like you're at the festival, everybody becomes friends, the night settles in, you just don't want the night to end. The first song that I released to the country charts was called Take That Shot. Co-wrote it with Willie Morrison and Tom Maxwell, very talented songwriters, and it was interesting to kind of see that song unfold. We had just met for the first time during co-write. After about 5 or 6 hours, we came out with Take That Shot. And it's really a song about, you can have a plan, and plans are great, but when something feels right, whether it's a relationship or an opportunity, sometimes you just got to check the plans and go with your gut. And so that song was really special to me. It was the first song that ever charted on country music for us, and it actually spurred a kindness campaign. It was released just before the holidays, so when Thanksgiving and Christmas came, we were asking people to take that shot and perform random acts of kindness. And so there's so many times we see an opportunity to do something good and we think about it. So we were asking people to put intention, action to the intention. And so we saw that take off, so some really great things came from that.
And then where can people find your music?
Really anywhere fans are used to downloading music. So Amazon, iTunes, Spotify, they can stream it. They can either stream or download. And pretty much if you just go to the website, sherryrowe.com, there are links to all of that,
Yeah.
And social media. We love connecting with people. For us, we love putting on the show, but we love meeting fans. So social media, is a great way for us to do that.
Playing with these guys for a while is great. Good to play with good musicians and people that are good people. Well, originally from upstate New York, but I've lived in Arizona most of my life.
I've been playing guitar since I was a kid. I've been, messing around with all sorts of instruments and everything, and it's been really cool to get plugged in with all these guys that have been doing it, their whole lives and everything. I've got, years ahead of me to catch up to them, but it's cool to just jump in and learn, from who I consider to be some of the best.
Well, I would like to introduce my husband, Kevin, here on the end. I want to make sure everybody knows that. He happens to be my favorite band member.
That's because I get the coffee.
Well, he does do that. No.
Tell me about the coffee.
Oh, this morning it was Seattle's best. It was wonderful. Seattle, best coffee there. And yes, I get the coffee, I iron the clothes, I make sure she gets there on time. That's what husbands do. But honestly, we have a great band. We have so much fun doing what we do.
And right now, Veronica has the latest school news from Pahrump Valley High School.
Hi, I'm Veronica Del Rosa, and this is your student news. Pahrump Valley High School students, if you're interested in acting, Improv Club meets every Thursday here at the Pahrump Valley High School Auditorium from 2:30 to 4 p.m. The first dance of the season, Homecoming, is September 14th from 7 to 11 p.m. It's $6 for a single ticket, $10 for a couple ticket, and $10 if you buy a ticket at the door. This week at Pahrump Valley High School, there's a volleyball and boys soccer game. Volleyball will be playing Wednesday, September 4th, varsity at 6 p.m., junior varsity at 5 p.m. against Slam Academy. The varsity boys soccer team will be playing Thursday, September 5th at 5:30 p.m. against Equipo High School. The Pahrump Taco Fest is October 12th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the Calvada Eye near the Duck Pond. We're looking for contestants for the best taco in Pahrump. Anyone can enter, teams, individuals, groups, or restaurants. To join, go on the Pahrump Taco Fest Facebook page. There's also vendor booth rental available. Thank you. This has been Veronica Del Rosa for your student news.
News 25 Weather Cam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
Well, let's take a look outside and see what it looks like right now on that weather cam. Got a few clouds in the sky. We'll find out more with our forecast after this break.
News 25 Weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Hello and welcome back to News 25. I'm Michael Donohue with today's weather. In Las Vegas, we had a high of 108 degrees with a low of 83. Death Valley up to 116 with a low of 89. Amargosa 106 for their high, 75 for their low. 101 with a low of 69 in Beatty. Coming out of those hundreds, Goldfield a high of 89 degrees, a low of 58. 88 with a low of 59 in Tonopah. Carson City at 89.57. Fallon 95.61. And finally Fernley a high of 93 with a low of 63 degrees. Now today in Pahrump, we saw sunny skies. Our high today was 105 degrees. Winds coming out of the south-southwest at 13 miles per hour. Our humidity at 15% and our sunrise at 6:18 this morning. Now for tonight, we're expecting some mostly clear skies. It's currently 103 degrees outside. Our low tonight's going to drop down to 78 with winds coming out the east-southeast at 7 miles per hour. Our humidity at 22% and our sunset at 7:07 tonight. Now looking ahead to our 7-day, we're still expecting some of those clouds through Thursday and Friday, but on Saturday that sunny sky is going to come back and just kind of hang out all through next Wednesday. Temperature-wise, we are starting to cool off a little bit, so that is some great news. Thursday and Friday are last days in the triple digits for the foreseeable future at 100 and 101 degrees. Saturday, we're going to be down to 99 degrees for our high, and then Sunday through Wednesday, we're going to be in those low 90s, just between 91 and 93 degrees. Now, our overnight temperatures are also starting to drop. Thursday and Friday, we're going to see lows of 75 and 74. Then on Saturday, we're going to drop down to about those mid-60s, just between 63 and 68 degrees to round out all through next Wednesday. So now with that, we're going to throw it back to the desk with Deanna.
Excited. The temperatures are coming down a bit. Well, that's our news. I'm Deanna O'Donnell. Have a great night.